We have our third and final freestyle footbag panel. I am joined by Kenny Schultz, Peter Irish, and Rip and Rick Reese.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it up for Kenny and Rick.
Come on over, guys. This will be a fun one. So guys, thank you so much for joining. I was very surprised to get all of you three, but very glad that you three were all agreed to be part of this. Tiny bit more. Thank you. I think there's.
So I'm gonna go and get him the hotel.
Hola.
Do all that.
That's all our people are. Have a seat, please. All right, so you three. So the past 2 days, we've kind of had a specific topic for people to. Hey, Justin. Can we just get it? Can you guys just give a quick check?
Testing, check, all right.
And maybe just talk ahead.
Test one. Can you hear me now? Four squares.
Yeah. All right, so guys, the past 2 days we've kind of had specific topics for people to talk on, but I think we're going to be a little looser today. So again, thank you so much for joining me. You guys are all legends and historians of freestyle football. All right, can you just give us a quick overview of what is it like being at Worlds 2017 in this sport that you pioneered? How different is it to when you guys were in it? Anyone, go ahead.
I'll start it off. So when I started, my first tournament in 1979, there was a category called freestyle. That competition was consecutive kicks. There were no tricks. It was consecutive kicks was called freestyle. I won first place in the first National Hacky Sack Association Championships in 1980 in the division of freestyle with a rally of 4,096 kicks in a row and one drop.
Crazy.
So one drop routine won the first freestyle competition. I've got the trophy that says freestyle on it. So there was no freestyle when I started. So it's pretty, from there to what you guys are doing now, it's not the same game. So pretty cool bookends on the perspective, I think, from those two events.
So technically that means if the first freestyle competition was consecutive kicks, then I probably have more actual freestyle championships than you, Schultz.
Lots of titles over there.
I don't count that one as a freestyle.
Okay.
50 titles.
If I count that one, then I think I'm tied with Bashak.
Shout out to Evan Bozat.
Yeah, it's funny because 20 years ago from this competition to right now, same spot. On many levels, it's not much different than it was back then. It looks the same, some of the same players. Maybe not 20 years ago, but these guys.
Do you remember the mats they put out in '97? And we had freestyle mats.
Freestyle mats.
And Stickman was going off.
Yeah, Tim Kelly. A lot of different players, but there's a lot of the same players in this room right now. And the freestyle, of course, is extremely more technical. But the routines are not that different, really. As far as the structure of a routine from today, from 20 years ago, not much has changed, just the technical level. So, in a way, for me to watch, it's not really that different than it was 20 years ago, strangely enough.
I like that request comp. That was awesome. I think it's really good for the crowd. Everybody got into it. We didn't have stuff like that. We had most rip and run, remember?
Yeah. No, there was no sick trick, no sick 3, I don't think. No request contest, nothing like that. No circle comps, just routines. Yeah, most rip and run was this thing. It was like, just go for it. 100 contacts until someone drops or something like that.
So I go back a little ways before these guys and give you guys a couple of thoughts about really early days freestyle and some stuff you may not know, like in the 1980 kind of time frame, Johnny Stahlberger was, the man, and he was all about fundamentals and kicking the bag and using the fundamental kicks, and so stalling the bag was actually something that was really frowned on. You don't do that. There are guys, Mark Hill and Craig Hufford, that they could do inside stalls, but they would look around to see if Stahlberger was watching before they did one. And so it was, to actually start like doing tricks and stalling the bag and doing tricks with it was something that really went against the tide of what was going on in footbag at that time. So it was kind of counterculture sort of thing. So so it kind of brought out sort of the rebel side of the footbag community. Got into using soft bags, using foot bags that weren't hacky sack brand, and kind of went against the stream. So that was I don't know. It was you kind of had to go against what the flow of the sport was all about in the early days.
The enforcer.
I bet truly deep down in his heart, John Stahlberger hates modern day freestyle. He'll say
Where's
he loves
Johnny?
it, but he doesn't. He hates it.
Where is he?
Yeah, he actually told me that.
He hates us too.
Come on, John Stahlberger, where are you?
It's really our fault.
He hates Jim Penske most.
He's taking a nap right now somewhere.
He's betting large money against Penske this week.
He likes ads because this guy thought of them.
Yeah, those guys don't even know what ads are anymore.
Like
Ads don't even exist
collective
anymore.
sigh.
So obviously
The ad police.
Obviously, the technical skill for players today is higher than it was 20 years ago. But could you guys kind of see the progression? Were you looking forward in the future back then? And could you imagine in your head how players play now? Could you see it back then?
Yeah, I've got the story of Blurriest.
Let's hear it.
When I first hit it, Schultz was like, "You didn't go around it that second time," and I was like, "Watch this." Did it a few times, and I remember Schultz just dogging me, saying, "You didn't go around it the second time." It was awesome.
That's a good point, though. That brings up the issue. There's a few things that are very different now that I've seen. One of them is the issue, and a lot of it is because of Schultz here. The issue of cleanliness of tricks. Buzz, where if you go around a bag with your toe versus around a bag with your ankle, we called that out way stronger. And another thing, number one thing for me that's way different than it was back when the three of us would play in circles is self-serving. Back in the day, you did not self-serve. You did not take a bag and toss it to yourself in a circle. You just did not do that. And the three of us stepped in a circle, you would not see us do that. And now that's just a normal thing. So
Stop doing it.
yeah, stop that shit. Fucking
Those
lazy
self
bastards.
tosses.
Come on, man.
If I
It's
see
more
if
of a-
I see it, there's gonna be trouble. I don't want to see it self-serve.
It's more quality control back in the day than there is today. I'm not trying to, talk shit to you guys, but like the cleanliness, even out on those like sick 3 things, some of that stuff was a little thin, and back then that wouldn't slide. I think the judges these days kind of let it slide. And also self-serving, it's like that's a standard we upheld in the day that just got trashed out. So for me, like us old timers, kind of like maybe we're a little grumpy and stodgy about it, but it also upheld a level of like personal responsibility of being able when something's tossed to you to be able to do those combos and not just be like, oh, I'm gonna try it again, I'm gonna try it again, I'm gonna try it again. It's like you hit the combo. If you don't hit the combo, pass it on.
Justin Dale vehemently opposes that, and he just argued with me on the side already. So Schultz, luckily you're over there.
I think most people close it now, and that's fine. That's just a different way it's done. But back in the day, like, we didn't pull that shit.
And I just one question thought on the question of, you know, did you see it coming, you know, around like what's happening today? I remember distinctly in like mid 80s, 84, 85, having the thought, we have done all the tricks you can do. And it's all going to be with 2 bags now. And aside from Scott Davidson, nobody's doing anything cool with 2 bags. Like, quit doing the shitty little 5 juggles and routines. It's crap, and you gotta stop it.
Somebody do 3 bags.
Lift it up. Yeah, do it. For real, you know, do something cool. It's lame. It's like, I don't know. That's one thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of
When
elements.
you first did it, though, it was insane. It was the
Yeah, it's
best.
the same now.
And with the jump rope, I believe, or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of elements and routines that have been kept that were being done 10 or 15 years ago that are still played out. It's like those little Ryan Mulroney toe stalls. You see those? That still happens.
That happens. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, there's a lot of shit that you guys just need to get out of there, man. Be creative. Throw that old shit out, man. Who's gonna innovate this stuff? It's like the same routines. Some of the stuff is the same stuff that was being done 15 years ago in a routine. But that's one of the things that I like. I'm not trying to be an asshole up here, but it's like, but I want to be honest, you know. And the routines these days are not much more creative than there were 15 years ago. Technically, they're higher, but they're doing the same thing. It's like it's the same structure, right? So who's doing anything different than they were 15 years ago?
Pete, do you
Tell me one person. Who?
Pete, do you think that may be a case of where you guys kind of standardize the style and the structure of a routine, and now that's kind of being, you know, tweaked and perfected? But you're saying you just like to see more
I like to see
creativity?
some kind of different direction. I don't even know if it's being perfected, to be honest. It's just being done. The same thing's being done over and over. Okay, I'm not saying there's nobody doing it, but there's not a lot of people that are going in a different direction with routines. And I don't know what that answer is. I don't know if there is a different direction with routines now. What do you guys think? You think there's a different direction that we can go with this? More, yeah, okay. More, yeah, like make it more of a show, make it more entertaining rather than a technical, because there are already a technical kind of like, you know, shred 30, request, sick 3, sick 1, that's all technical. So maybe routine should just be more for entertainment value. I don't know. I do shows for a living, so that's the way I think. But I don't know.
Pete, do you also think maybe it was a case of back then there was more room for innovation because less had been done, or do you think people have stopped thinking outside the box compared to back then?
It's a good question. Maybe there was more room for innovation.
well,
I don't know though. I think there's room for innovation now.
Well, one of the big shifts that happened was the way that freestyle's played today was, I don't know, it seems now looking back like, oh well, that's how it had to be. That's what had to happen. It's the coolest, right? The way all this trick to trick to trick to trick, but that was hard fought. It wasn't like oh, that's the best way to do it. It was from judging systems and everything. It was not considered. It was spoken about in the mid '80s as really with disparaging kind of tone to it, like oh yes, your guys are the shred till you drop guys, because the culture in footbag was about honoring the circle. You pass the bag. You don't self-serve. You pass to somebody else. You don't go till you drop. You have this responsibility in the circle to keep the bag in the air. That's what footbag is. Outside of this hall, that's the way people play. That's a hack circle, right? That's the culture. You have that responsibility to keep it up. And that's the way freestyle was as well. It was not like this shred orientation. And the judging systems weren't oriented towards that. And I was really the first one doing that. and then Rippon came along, and he was disparaged for being a Kenny clone when Rippon came. And it, you know, it kind of, I don't know, we sort of took it over by force in a way, because people were into that style, and that's what I wanted to do. It's the way I wanted to play. It's the way Rippon wanted to play.
I watched that Sipa Sipa video so many times. I wore it out. Broke my VHS player.
So, but some of the cool stuff from before is lost. Like, honestly, nobody knows how to do a flyer anymore. This ain't good. I'd like to see some better flyers, you know, and some better spins. You know, Jack Schoolcraft was doing triple spins.
Yeah, Jack Schoolcraft.
Jack Schoolcraft.
You guys dig up some VHS tapes.
Yeah.
Watch some old Schoolcraft
Jack?
routines.
More spins, more flyers would be cool.
Almost take it back to the old school in a way. Maybe that's the next innovation is going backwards.
But I like, you know, I'm not complaining. I think what we're seeing today is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Extraordinary.
I definitely, I'm not trying to criticize it, but just the structure for me is a little stale. But I think that there's different ways people can go with it if you think outside the box. And I think routine structure, because of these guys, like you were just saying, they went from a more free-flowing style and routines to this technical shred, because that was the innovation of the time. And I guess that's how it was, and that's how it is. So I don't know, maybe there's a different way of doing it, maybe there isn't. Maybe it's just going to get crazier and crazier and technical and more and more technical. But I'm not trying to put anyone down, because the technical level's insane. And you watch Penske's routine, or Landis do a routine. It's incredible what they're hitting out there. And even Boschek and all those guys are still, if they're pushing that level, the technical level keeps going. So that's awesome.
I always wanted Worlds to have more money, way more money. Back in '88, I made over $1,000 at the World Championships because of the all-around tournament that they put on, where you had to play every event. Consecutive kicks, freestyle, net, and footbag golf. And the cumulative score, I think I was 13th, and it paid out $1,000. Coors Light was a sponsor. It was just awesome. And then it seemed to die out after Coors Light pulled their sponsorship. But I always thought that these guys should be getting paid. We should all be getting paid something. And I've sponsored people over the last few years, last 5 or 6 years, because I couldn't make it. I let the sport down. I couldn't make it to Worlds. Circumstances beyond my control, but I still threw some money out to some of these guys like Hansa, Yindra, Boschek, all these guys. I've helped a bunch of the other guys like Penske, Landis, all these guys. I feel like there should be more money in this sport. So in the future, let's figure that part out. With everybody's help, maybe we can throw some bigger tournaments with more money. That's all. Money.
Because it's all about the money.
So you guys have spoke for about 10 minutes on how the modern era is quite different than the classical era. Do you think if you guys were, teens or 20s and you walked up in 2017 and saw freestyle footbag, do you think you guys would get into it today, or is it just a totally different game, not your thing anymore?
Wow.
I'd be into it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure for me, because this kind of, stupid, esoteric, kind of ridiculous, obsessive, compulsive kind of coordination activities is what I'm into. I don't have any choice in it. It's like if I had a choice, I'd probably say no, I would not get into that because it's stupid. But if I don't have a choice. It's like, oh, I have to do that. I have to learn how to do that. That's really cool what those guys are doing. And my friends get, my high school friends and stuff are like, that's so stupid. But they help ground me. But a lot of them were here to watch me this morning in the net. First time they'd seen it.
Yeah, I don't think any of the three of us here had any kind of choice in the matter at all. And I know, like, for Rippon also is like one of the best foosball players in the world, and Schultz has several other things that he's some of the best in the world at, and I've got other things too, and they're all based around being really fucking coordinated and really technically skilled. So it's
I think I've got some autism as well.
little Asperger's,
Yeah, definitely spectrum.
but
Or some pool or some disc golf. You know?
yeah, like for me, I'm a professional juggler now. That's what I do, and it's the same thing. So for sure, I'd be into it now if I saw it and didn't know what I was getting into. I'd definitely, as obsessed as I was. I'm glad I got into it when I did, though. You know, because it was a different world back then. It was a whole different context. But if I rolled up now as a 16-year-old kid like I did back then, I'd still get obsessed with it for sure.
1995, guiltless. Peter Irish came to Worlds and blew minds. You guys wonder when that started. No more twos. There was like 2 ad sets and everything, and then a big trick, and then a toe stall or something, and then another clipper, and blurry as to a toe stall, and you just kept going. And all of a sudden, 95, this dude comes out, hitting, linking every 3, you know, for like 20 contacts, man. I'm on the floor dying, like literally unbelievable. That year changed everything.
Fuck you, Eve.
Nuts and bolts. Nuts and bolts.
Yeah. So, do you guys look back at your history with the sport? Anything particularly stand out that you're super proud of?
Rick mentioned earlier that back in the day we used to play all the events. Can you hear me?
Is this on?
How's that? No, I think Rick is it good? So we played. Yeah. So we played all the events, and I always went to Worlds with the intention to win every event I entered. I never managed to actually accomplish that, but that was always the goal every year, to win every event. Singles and doubles net, singles and doubles freestyle, golf, consecutive kicks, everything. 1989 and 90, I won singles freestyle and singles net the same year, both years. And that, I don't know with the splitting off of the 2 sports, I don't know if we'll see that again. So that's cool. That's probably accomplishment-wise coolest thing for me.
Peter, anything for you?
As far as accomplishments in my footbag career, I'm most proud of, I think, winning 3 championships in a row. Being the first person to do that was pretty huge. And also, that's good enough for me.
Yeah. Mine, I think the invention of symposium, the concept, the invention of rip walk, Ripstein, and I think just the overall concept of symposium is one of my favorite things that was invented because it just changed every single trick. Every single trick that was invented was able to be hit symposium, so it just changed everything, in my opinion. And I looked into a dictionary that night, and I was looking up same pivot. So in the dictionary, same pivot became symposium, and that's how it came. And symposium is actually a gathering usually of drinking and friends, and it just fit perfect. So that's how symposium, the word came about, was a late night dictionary search.
Also really proud of inventing the ad system.
Definitely.
So that comes up a lot in modern freestyle. A lot of players feel that ads can stifle creativity because some players kind of hunt the numbers. Obviously, it was a different game back, 20, 25 years ago with it. But how do you guys feel about that criticism of the ad system now?
Well, I think I don't think it's probably been given enough credit for what it's done for the game. because these advances of going from no thes to no tilts to no gilts to whatever the next was, triplets and then zeros, and right, the pushing of the boundaries, and that just those little things. Like, I'm not going to do a tilt. I'm not going to do a gilt. Like, those little things pushed the level forward more than anything else. Without the ad system, I don't know. It's like, what would have happened? Would that evolution have happened? I don't know. I think it was really helpful for that to happen. I know that for me, like, just going, and I learned this from the freestyle frisbee world in 1984, where I learned the concept of They already called stuff thes in freestyle frisbee. I was like, oh, okay, I can do that in foot bag, and that meant going away from doing kicks in between tricks to going to trick to trick to trick, and it was revolutionary how much better I got in 1 year of just adopting that philosophy. So, the ad system has had a lot of cool things because there's a lot of little stuff that's like, there's a bunch of 4 ads that are easier than some 3 ads. There's a bunch, but on average, the average of all 4 ads is harder than the average of all 3 ads for sure. It's not unquestionable. So I think it's silliness, that's pretty accurate. So I think it works, and I think it's done a lot of great things for the game. I know there's who was it? I think there was somebody that said the ad system's the worst thing that's ever happened to freestyle, and that's like thinking that freestyle would have been what it is without the ad system. And that's just idiotic. So anyway, maybe that's a little overly honest, but
I'd say the only thing now that maybe limits anything with the ads is that it keeps out stuff like kicks out of combinations. And there's a few people like Gordon Bevier, for example, throws in kicks in the middle of his combos, and that's really super styly and he's not really worried about how many ads that trick was or whatever, or in the middle of a long string to throw a kick in the middle of even just like a stepping, ducking, knee bump to something else is like adds some cool style and creativity that maybe a lot of people don't explore that because of the ads. But overall, I agree with Schultz. Definitely the ad system pushed the sport to where it is today and upped the creativity overall in the long run.
And I can still count ads in real time. I hit lawns within 2 today, so that was pretty good. I have a little rusty, a little 14-year rust going on.
That's probably a lost art form to even count ads. I don't know how many people down here can count a whole, 30-second shred, count the ads and have it and get within 5-10 ads even. No one can do that anymore. So all of us used to be able to do that back in the day. The 3 of us would be the ad counters at these things, and we'd do it real time. Sit there and count the ads for a 30-second shred. Boom, boom, boom. See, line them up, see if it's correct. I don't think I can do it now, but I used to do it really well.
Remember this one, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
Yeah, we'd be writing 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, 2 down there.
Add it up at the end. Schultz says go win another title or something.
Okay, so Kenny's gonna have to run in a few minutes, so I think we'll open it up to some questions for as long as Kenny can stick around. Mark, what do you got?
This was my first year judging the first round of routines. I was looking very forward to doing this. What I'm finding is that the professional performers, musicians, string performers, have a totally different concept of what that routine should be. So my question is, do you feel as performers that routine should be about the show? Since, like you kind of mentioned that, if the guy didn't look up to the audience, I want to give him a 0. Because I would think I want to be able to hire this person to present this to a group. Do you agree with that routines could become the artistic show and then everything else is just technical? Or is that...
So the question is routines, and how do you guys feel about the artistic portion? Is it weighed heavily enough? Should it be weighed more?
I always thought it should be even 50-50, but I don't think it's really that way. The greatest routine ever, it's Nick Landis' routine, If you want to show somebody like what a routine should be like, or some of Voshik's or Milan's, pretty much Hansa was right on with that because he's a performer, that kind of thing. But just equal balance, and I think they've gone away from the ad count, haven't they? Haven't they gone away from that?
Yeah, in routines, sometimes you have an ad counter, sometimes you don't, and I think it's really up to each judge to take that into their consideration.
That frightens me.
I think it's just it's a different era.
Yeah, I think personally for me, that's how I make a living as a performer. And for me, if there's no entertainment value in a routine, it just bores the shit out of me. So I can sit and watch technical stuff all day long, but I don't really want to watch that, And if a routine is the presentation to music with choreography, then for me, a routine's always going to be more entertaining with some personality and some presentation. That being said, this is the World Footbag Championships, and the technical is just as important. I don't think that these routines are something that people are putting together. It's like, oh, hopefully someone's going to hire me to do this routine and I'll get paid for it. It's like, here's my presentation of my skill. Here's how I do it with my own personality, and there is an audience. So, like a good example of a really entertaining routine from semifinals this year for me was Ken Salmolinas. His routine had a lot of personality. He used the stuff that was happening in the music. He did that. It was like, oh, blah, 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 or whatever. And shake your tail feathers, and he's shaking his tail feathers and stuff like that. Like for me, that's really more entertaining to watch. And I think that there should be some of that. And the more entertaining routines that also keep that high technical thing is what should win.
Ceiling fan.
Nah, so him over there.
Schultz when he did routines, it was always entertaining because you felt his personality in that routine. Like Kenny stepped out there, and you knew it was Kenny Schultz on that floor, and Kenny's energy came through those routines, and it was just Schultz. It was his flavor. And
knew you were gonna lose.
Yeah, and Rippin had his own flavor, and I thought I'd bring my own flavor too. And it's like the people that elevate the routines to another level are the ones who win. And so it's really like any performance you watch, there's a technical aspect, but you enjoy that performance because that person is throwing down their style, their flavor, their personality. So I think it's important.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions out there? Nick? Question is, is there more to that, Nick? Okay. Yeah, we got it.
I've suffered through that plenty of times.
Question is, how do you feel about physical props in routines? And I think that was Alex Zerbe's big thing back in the day, right?
And it goes all the way back to, it was like either 81 or 82, maybe freestyle competition, and there was a team that used scarves, to like highlight the rainbow kicks with scarves, and I didn't like it. Animal Johnson did a routine in 1983, and he had a bunch of props involved, and I don't know, I'm more of a purist, I guess, for me. Somebody used it, I don't know what year it was, but there was a folding chair and a newspaper involved in that.
That was me. Guess what it was? It was U2, the band, Sunday Bloody Sunday. I can't believe the news today.
Just for the record, I never picked to YouTube.
Yeah, I did not win. I did not do
That
well.
shit was the early 90s, so...
Yeah, I had confetti too, so I had a paper, can't believe the news today, and then when I popped up to do a flying clipper, I had confetti, and I was trying to time it to where I threw the confetti, and I was not on time. It was a failure for sure, in many ways.
So don't use props badly. If
No
you're gonna
props.
use them.
Props,
I think
but no props.
props could be okay though. For example, Zerbe came out with this little Yeah, one of my favorite routines of all time, Alex Zerbe in shiny purple booty pants, basically naked except these tiny little pants and big boxing gloves and on a tiny bicycle with big sunglasses. That shit was so ridiculous, but goddamn, I still remember it. I'm not saying he used the props well, but I mean, it got him to finals. And here's one I remember that I thought was cool with props. Toby Robinson came out and did like a little basketball theme, like Harlem Globetrotters. And he had the costume, and he had this little.
Was it basket?
It was a little basket.
Little hoop, yeah.
And he would like throw in the bag through the hoop. That's kind of fun and cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
But I don't know, props.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say do it if you want, but just don't suck at it.
We have to mention Kenny's old partner, net partner, Mick Harding, was it? Tell him about that routine with, was it Velcro? Oh my God. You guys got to find that
Yeah,
video.
he's not a freestyler.
Okay, everybody, in 1 minute and a half, the third game of the second semifinals of mixed doubles, players from Germany, Finland, Slovenia,
Right
and
on.
Poland
Thanks,
travel all
everybody.
around to come here for your entertainment. So please, come out.
Fuck you, Eve.
Silencio.
Yeah, Vez.
JK, bro. JK.
Just joking, dude. We love you. Get a sense of humor. The Montrealers.
Nah, because they're going 3 games, so. Oh, well, yeah, he wasn't a freestyler, so one of the, I don't know what you call this exactly, he rigged up, tied a fishing line to the foot bag, and, looked like he dropped it, and then he, like, dropped it again, but then he did this trick where he, like, pointed at his foot and yanked on the line, and the bag came onto his foot again, so it was pretty cool.
It was awesome.
It was cool.
It was
Oh, it was hilarious. It was,
That sounds fun. Like
That's
that's a way to use a prop, do something different.
Because it was kind of surprising. Like it was
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, you're kind of feeling bad for him. Like, oh, he dropped it again. Oh man, he dropped it again. And it was just doing easy stuff, and then all of a sudden, whoosh.
yeah, wasn't it? He
Think
did
about
a
doing a whole
routine.
routine with that, with a bunch of bags, and bags are flying around. I mean, that could be a creative way to do it.
I think the reason he did it though was because of the overall, right? And we have routines from people that normally didn't do routines because everybody wanted to win overall.
That's right,
The
net
money
players used to
overall.
do
So,
routines.
yeah, net players
Overall
were
was
doing
everything. At that time, the overall was it was
So,
everything.
yeah. We're glad that's gone.
All right, let's take a couple more questions. Yeah, Tom?
Earlier, and
Yeah, it's hard to do.
how how to get more money into the competition and the events and all that. I see back in the day, Worlds was well sponsored. Were there just better people in that community that had connections or knew how to organize that type of stuff, or is that kind of thing just harder to do nowadays? I don't know.
I've been gone for so long, I don't really know the answer. I think Kenny maybe have a better answer for that one. I think
question
with
was-
sponsorship for sure.
Yeah, in terms of sponsorship compared to back in the day, is it harder to do now, or were things better then? Is it easier to do then?
It's harder now. For footbag, it's harder now.
The idea a few years back when I found out that there was zero prize money at Worlds, but there was still, registration fees and all that, I about died. I mean, I can't even believe it. It just shocks me. I would put up my own money. I put $1,000 of my own money for a CSS2, I think it was. And Lawrence swept the house. He thanked me a lot because he swept it. He took all the money, But I just wanted to see some incentive, at a different level. Because I was already lowering my kicking level, was lowering at that point, I think 02 or 01, But the incentive was there for a lot of people. Like, man, I had $375 for, or whatever for first, And even though that sounds piddly, it seems like something that should be there. I'd throw my own money in again, but that's not going to solve anything,
Yeah, it had never been easy. There was more money in the 80s than there is now, but not by much. Not by, it's essentially zero. It's a little bit of money, and probably that's mostly due to the efforts of the World Footbag Association and Bruce Goodich and Greg Ford-Posse, and those guys putting on Worlds every year in the same place every year for 9 years. That was a big deal. of that consistency, and it's also in the home of, that was in Golden, Colorado, so it was Coors backyard, so we got this, sponsorship money from them. We also had connections so that the costs of the event were lower than they are, So you take, I know the cost of this event, I don't know, Kendall can tell me what the total budget is, but when we did this event in '97, our budget for the Worlds was like $47,000, and we gave out almost $17,000 in prize money that year. The budget, and that was the most that had ever been paid out, and that's not any money. That's tiny amounts of money. So it'd be not, it's not that it's harder now than it was. It's never been easy. I think that the WFA and their connections made it so that there was always a little bit more money then than there is now. But I don't know, not substantially more, and it's always been next to nothing. Scott Clear, who I think I saw walking around.
Yeah, I saw Scott.
I remember him coining the expression. The motto of the footbag athlete is the unyielding willingness to make nothing forever. and I think to some extent that's actually kind of cool about the sport. Other sports, I think, you bring a bunch of money in and that has that upside, but there's a cost to it. It's a price that's paid by the community, like what you have in footbag. Everybody here, there's not a single person here that's here for the prize money. Every single person here is here for the love of the game. And that cannot be said of every sport. It cannot be said of almost any sport. And so to me, it's like, yeah, maybe that would be cool. I used to have that sort of philosophy, I guess, back when I was winning everything. Yeah, I wish there was a lot more money in it. But looking back in hindsight, it's kind of like, I'm kind of actually glad there never has been, because it makes it more pure. So
I completely agree with Schultz. In the long run, the purity of this game and what we have right here is worth way more than a few bucks. It's the obscurity of it makes it so cool on some level. Like, it's so obscure, but this is like a family, so it's worth way more than money. I think the most I ever won for singles freestyle is $500. I thought at that time was huge. But in juggling, which is a much bigger community that I'm a part of, and I compete in from time to time, if you win the World Juggling Championships this year, I think was like $3,000 or $4,000 or something to win the World Juggling Championships, which juggling's been around for 4,000 years. So it's really not that much more than what we have. So we're not the only ones that are not making a lot of money on but the juggling scene is pretty pure too, and it's really cool. So you guys, if you're in it long enough, you'll realize that that's one of the coolest parts about this.
I've actually been to the World Championships of foosball about 8 different times, and the money there for open doubles, the payout's $15,000 for first, and drops in half for second, and so on. You pay out to like 18th place or something, but it's not winnable. There's only 5 people that are going to win every single year. For 25 years, it's been dominated by the same people. My good friends still win every year, and the top prize has always been about the same. And it's a great community too, but there's a ton of product. There's tables, there's a lot of money to be had. There's not much money here to be had in shoes, shorts, and a foot bag, right? So that's one of the problems, but still that ain't that great of money, right? 15 grand, for World Championship.
It's not something you can live on.
Right.
Anyone have any other questions? Ivan?
So a lot of you are legends and inspiration to those of us sitting here. Who would you say were your inspiration when you were kicking?
Oh, great question, Ivan. Okay, so you guys are legends to us, but who were legends to you guys?
Him?
Schultz.
So
There was no other.
for me, my first, a couple of people. But from a freestyle standpoint, Jack Schoolcraft was the guy that I looked at. And I saw him kicking, he set a world record at the first tournament that I went to, and I really looked up to him. And he was a guy doing flying clippers and dragonflies and spins and double spins and triple spins, and so from a freestyle standpoint, I looked up to Jack. On the net side, Stahlberger was better at foot bag than you could possibly imagine. He was still probably the best fundamentals that has ever played the game. But from a net standpoint, like he had both back kicks like ropes, and man, he was unbelievable. And so Stahlberger was one of my idols too. But I also looked outside of foot bag too, from a freestyle frisbee standpoint. I really kind of idolized Joey Hedocklin in freestyle frisbee. So if you look up something inspirational, look up Joey Hedocklin stuff. So I'm definitely inspired by him.
Peter and Rick, can you just say a few more words on what it was like looking at Kenny coming up through footbag?
Yeah, I will. You know what I mean? Because we'll go timeline here, because I came after Schultz and then Peter. I thought I was a big shot in 85. I could do all the basic kicks. I could do a forehead stall. I didn't even have a toe stall. And that I saw Kenny, and at the time his partner was Pat Bieber from, I think, Austin, Texas. And Corpus Christi, I saw these guys doing clipper stalls and around the worlds, and my mind was blown. And I practiced for 4 hours a day, every day. I watched his video, and I learned every single trick this guy could hit that I saw on video. And then I went to the tournament in San Diego, and I was like a Kenny clone, and I could hit all these tricks out of nowhere. It was awesome, and I just always looked up to him, and he always just pushed the sport for so many years after that too. But then, like we said, to play net, to win net on top of winning freestyle, GOAT.
So for me, actually, my first inspiration was a guy named Andy Linder, who was at the first tournament I was ever at, which is East Coast Footbag Championships in 1986, before half of you guys were born. And I thought I was good too, because I could kick 5,000 kicks in a row. And then I walked up, I thought I was going to destroy everyone in the world. And I walked up and I saw Andy Linder do a double around the world kick. And then my whole world collapsed. But then that was the beginning. And then when I came to Worlds in 1989, I saw these guys. And Schultz and Rippin for me were my idols. So it's really surreal to be up here with these guys. But definitely, in my opinion, these two guys were what created what we do now. And I always looked up to Schultz, but it was really Rippin who took me aside. I think it was in 1990 when I was starting to get good. And Rippin, and this is the beauty of this sport, Rippin took me aside, who was the best in the world at the time, these two guys, and a dude that I looked up to was like, look man, okay, first of all, in 89, I was kicking in a random circle, and I hadn't even really met these guys, and Rippin walked by and I did a swirl, and he stopped and he said, you have potential. That's all he said, one word, 3 words, you have potential. And then he left and I didn't even meet him that year, but I went home and I practiced probably every day, 365 days till that tournament again.
I had a good eye.
Because of those 3 words. And then the next year, because of Rippin saying those 3 fucking words, I had improved, and then Rippin took me aside, he's like, hey man, you got a lot of cool stuff, but I'm gonna show you some stuff that's gonna open up your game. So Rippin took me aside for 2 hours, just me and Rippin, deconstructed my game and taught me all this new stuff. And then a year after that, I came back and beat their asses.
Create monsters I am.
But no, I always looked up to Schultz.
Yes.
But that's the beauty of this game, is like, you know, the best in the world, people who you're competing against will teach you. You can come back and beat them. And it really, you know, that, like the openness of this taught me a lot about life, to not be greedy with your gifts, but to give it away. And like if it wasn't for these guys could have been like, no, we don't want to teach anybody our stuff because we're the champions. We want to continue to win this thing. But it was pure like giving, open-hearted givingness that really pushed the sport forward. And so
And that happened again also in '96 with Ryan Mulroney, where I took him aside and I was helping him with down double downs. And then '97 he came back and just destroyed everybody, and the rest was history. But yeah, I created that monster a little bit too.
yeah, but I won in '97.
You did, huh?
Yeah, I did.
He was there.
That was the last time Mulroney dominated after '97. So let's just
Created all kinds
keep
of
that clear.
monsters.
I think let's get one more question and then we'll wrap it up. Olaf?
So I want to ask about BAP as something that has a different reputation now than it used to have, kind of like Abs.
Good question.
So
boy.
the question is,
We don't have that
What
kind of
is-
time.
Hey, can of worms on that.
initial idea behind the criteria, and also how did that form with back then?
Okay, so the question was the origins of BAP. What was the original idea behind it? What was the original criteria? Do you guys have a list of things that you do to get into BAP? Because it's still kind of feely right now. So what was it like back then?
Well, I mean, for me, like I said, my last Worlds was '03, and so I think it's changed considerably since then. But we had a vote of all the BAP people at that point in time, at that tournament, to vote people in. But the original thing, we never knew that it was going to turn into what it did. And the godfather behind that was Joey Schaefer. So shout out to Joey Schaefer. If anybody doesn't know who that is, he was the thought behind it all. He came up with everything when it comes to that. And that's why he was in the inner circle, we called it, the first 7. And Joey Dimitri, right? Kenny B. Dennis and Mungus, I think. It was
Stickman.
a lot of those guys. I mean,
So-
like Joey could only hit a couple moves, like he was just so behind the whole thing. And so like we never knew it was going to do what it did. And I think in '03 when I stopped playing and we voted people in, it had to have a certain percentage of BAP members vote on the players of that particular world. So I don't know what's happened since then, and why, in my opinion, a couple people should have been in. From just me watching the videos of Worlds, I thought so-and-so should have been in BAP, and then they weren't, and I was confused on what happened.
I think it's important to point out historically, like it wasn't established as a thing. It was really like a T-shirt. It wasn't like, oh, we're gonna be the Big Ad Posse and we're gonna elect people in and it's gonna be all this, it's gonna be this big thing. It wasn't. It's gonna be a cool T-shirt. We're gonna call ourselves a Big Ad Posse, And then people were like, hey, how do I get into that posse? That's a cool posse.
Yeah, it was just 7 people pushing a style of freestyle that was different.
And
we
not
just
being
hung as a
focused
crew.
on not being into competition at all. Just like being into just being, just this style of play and just being great at it, not for the purpose of competition, but just to kind of get after it. And that, it was, I don't know if Joey had any ideas that it was going to be more than a T-shirt, but I think that's kind of what it was. First was, let's call it the Big Ed Posse and make a T-shirt. But it had attracted attention, and people were like, I want to get in that. How do I get in that? So it was like, well, maybe there ought to be a second round of this, and that's when.
Stand clear of Olaf's blades.
Humongous and Cosmo and Chisler, Michigan. Basically, it's like the Michigan induction.
Plus nicknames are cool.
So then now there's 2 circles, and now it's like, now it's a thing. And now there's, then more people started asking about how do you get in, and then it became sort of like, okay, well, how do you get in? And this is a thing now. So, I'm not kind of create a beast on accident, maybe.
Yeah, it caused a lot of shit for some people who didn't get in over the years, who never got in, who wanted you, it pissed a lot of people off. And it was like a lot of big controversy around that in the underground, and like who should get in, why, if you didn't step up in the circle and hit hard, you didn't get in. And if you played all year really great, but you didn't step up in that moment and you didn't get in, like people got super pissed, man. And it was like some of those early internet tirades. A couple people I can name names, but I won't. But I don't know. Is it?
Somolinos' fault right now. Anything negative with BAP is Somolinos' fault, by the way. Refusing to take, right? Refusing to be inducted. Where is he?
I think the real question is it even still applicable in this day and age? Like, is it, what's up, boys?
So Jim asked, without BAP, would the freestyle level have gotten to where it is today?
No.
No. I think it was definitely an inspiration to push hard.
Yeah, ask Toby.
It's an honor, man. It was back then to get inducted. It was like, you know, you had to throw it down at the highest level to get in.
Seriously, ask Toby how hard it is, how hard he worked. Remember?
To not get inducted, right?
Yeah, and then finally later getting inducted.
Did get inducted. Yeah, Toby won. Lon.
But that was the hard.
I knew the story about the t-shirts, and I think we should bring the t-shirt aspect back into it.
Staying clear of the blades.
I'd be willing to donate a substantial amount to help get everything that's already in, t-shirts sent to him, and if he, like, do you think we could get the original t-shirt?
I don't even have one of the original shirts. I got an original shirt.
I think they miscounted. I never got
I still
one.
have it. It's like so worn you can barely read it, but
Don't let Joey in!
what do you think, like reprinting the original shirts? Or like adding all the names all around the BAP circle?
Yeah, no,
Every name.
Adding the ladies.
As people got in, they should have got a shirt. Right?
Yeah. That'd be cool, man, but like, we're just poor hacky sack players who can't afford to print t-shirts. That's just the truth, man.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Yeah, so I think that's going to do it for us. So a big round of applause.
Love you.
for
Love the footbag scene. Keep it rolling.
Thank you guys for keeping it
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for coming, everyone. This is the final panel, so thanks for coming along for this experiment, and maybe we'll see you next year. Have a good World Table.
Jack Schoolcraft is floating around this tournament. You guys should meet him. He's around. Definitely try to meet him.